In today's video, I paint my arms, I set fire to the studio, I show you how to shallow the golf club, and more importantly, I carry around a very heavy object.
Today I want to talk about the role of the two hands in the golf swing, the lead hand and the trail hand. They both have very, very different roles when we're moving this golf club around the body. The trail hand is the one that most of us will be overactive on. And the activity that you feel in that trail hand will really be trying to make up the shortfall of your lead hand. If you want to find out a little bit more about that lead hand activation, go check out this video here. So the lead hand, trail hand in the takeaway really start to get that golf club moving away with what most golfers will start to recognize as the club out in front of the handle. When you put the pressure down through the lead hand, this pressure going down to the ground is only one influence. And you can see that when I'm pushing that lead hand down to the floor here, the club head is staying low to the ground, which is therefore the role of the trail hand to get that club to pick up. When I can now get this trail hand to lift the head up, all of a sudden, what seems such a simple move really creates some energy through the grip. The energy through the grip that's going to fire up your body. Now, if I've got energy going on through the grip, I need to make sure there's some energy going on through the floor, because the hands can only move so far without the torso moving. I'm always up for making people recognize that if you've got activity in one direction, it needs to be opposed in the opposite direction. So if we've got a grip that's moving to the right of the golf ball as you see it here, I'm thinking about making sure that my body's moving in the opposite direction. So I'm going to feel like this right foot is now going to oppose that lead hand. So I've got to push down with the lead hand and I've got to pull up with the trail hand. I've now got a network of motion here that gets the golf club started. So the trail foot is opening up the foot, which is allowing the lead hand enough room to move in and around the golfer. This right hand, this trail hand, now gets the golf club setting. So we get such a nice feeling of activity to get the club started, which over the years we've seen many golfers stutter when they take the club away. If you're clear on how we get the club started, it'll never be an issue. So using that trail foot, that lead hand, and that trail hand to get that golf club started, all of a sudden starts to really set the club up nicely for a backswing. This trail hand is very much the conduit that allows you to get that club head up in front of you. Now, I'm not moving the trail hand away, I'm simply feeling like it's a bicep curl that's playing against that lead hand push, which is playing against that trail foot push, which gets me in a really nice spot there in the backswing. So now I've got the golf club moving. Our next junction of making the energy move back in the opposite direction is change of direction. Now, when you think about this club head, all of a sudden is starting to set upwards as we start to see that head weight swinging over the top of the grip. You can recognize that as we get up to the top, that head weight is going to keep on moving in that direction. If that's the case, you can see that this head weight would then want to be received in the right hand. The hand would feel like it's being pushed to the floor. The lead hand is going to feel like it's being pushed to the sky. Two very different sensations within the grip. So as I start to reach the top of my backswing, I'm now feeling how the lead hand rises up and the trail hand proportionately moves down. I move my hands up. Look how my trail hand is feeling like it's almost going to move back down to the floor as my lead hand raises up. And a good way of feeling this is by lifting the club up in front of you, get the shaft vertical, now lift it up. Feel how your lead hand keeps on moving elevated, and it feels proportionately that your trail hand moves to the ground. So we now start to feel, there's the push-pull, and I've got the activity with my right foot, and there is that sensation at the top that starts to make the club feel weightless. That's allowing the club shaft to start to change its orientation. At that point, this is where golfers have talked over the years of making transition nice and soft. That momentary pause. Now, a pause, in my books, would mean that the club has lost all of its energy. The reality is, it's that weightlessness that the club has between moving backwards to moving downwards. In the same way, if I have a heavy bag, 20 kilograms in this case, I move it back and then down, this weightlessness is simply me gathering it up and moving it in the opposite direction. So if you've got something heavy, actually 10 kilograms, if you've got something heavy, pick it up, move it from the side to the side, and you'll feel that weightlessness. The trouble is, when the golf club is so light statically, when it starts moving dynamically, it's when the golfer gets caught unawares because it's so light statically. So that transition from backswing to downswing is the same about moving something heavy. We just have more appreciation when it's a heavy, dead weight object. Now we've recognized the fact that this weightlessness at the top is simply moving something light that creates more weight as it's moving dynamically. We recognize the fact that that needs to play a role at the top. All of a sudden, when I feel this club lay down as I lift it to the top, now I can feel like I can drag it back in the opposite direction, not my best strike there. So that weightlessness at the top is the push of the lead hand, the pull of the trail hand. Now as we get the head weight to the top, that head weight at the top where the lead hand feels like it lifts, the trail hand feels like it lays down, now gives us the opportunity to now feel like we can move it down into strike. Now we've got the moment of truth. Now we've got impact. And impact for so many people feels very, very different. I want you to take the club in your left hand, lead hand, and put your trail hand halfway down the shaft. Put the club shaft parallel to the floor, and now all I want you to do is start to make yourself come into impact with this club shaft parallel to the floor and feel exactly what you do to create that situation. Now all I want you to do is go and get someone to sit on the end of the golf club. Or should I say, hang something heavy off the end of the golf club. Because when you do that, you are effectively creating the same situation that's going on at impact. Now tell me, if I was to tuck my arm in, how bad that would be. So when we recognize the weight at the end of the golf club, when it starts swinging dynamically, my arms, that right arm feeling like it's lifting up, and that trail arm the trail arm lifting up and the lead arm pushing down, all of a sudden you can see how important that pressure between the two hands is. If I was lifting both of my hands up at that point, lifting them both up at that point, you can see how that club would really have a problem with its direction and the contact point. So by using this drill, I really start to make you feel how that right side can stay high. I get a push down with the lead hand, which all of a sudden puts shape in this lead wrist. The shape in that lead wrist all of a sudden starts to give you the opportunity to strike down and to create loft, because that's the key in golf, hitting down, creating loft. Now you can see that that shot there had a path line 0, I had a face to path shut at 4 degrees. So I could create even more cup in my left wrist to make that face to path value even straighter. I am so far away from feeling bow with my wrist that it couldn't be a different sport. But I'm creating an angle of attack, ball flight and face to path values. So please don't tell me that bowing is the way to go. It's utter garbage and it is killing golfers. And it was really quite interesting. Gary Player said, how is it that all of these good golfers that have won major championships now can't play golf anymore? Through having golf instruction and changing and doing all the bits and bobs that they have done. See, more golfers get worse than we have got better. So the shape of this lead wrist, and I hear you say it, Stuart, you're talking a very different language here. Well, maybe it's just the answer. Maybe you want to rethink all of your bowing, all of your tucking, to create the pressure on the golf ball and the loft and the energy that you will start to feel and receive. From recognizing that these two hands, this lead hand and trail hand, are push-pullers. They are opposing this grip that's being thrust up into the grip through the weight. And I think hanging that heavy bag off the end of my golf club there at impact just shows you the kind of energy that you're needing to create down through strike by pushing down, pulling up, long right arm. Now all of a sudden I've got this environment that I can push against my leg action that allows me to feel like I can create a path, a face to path that's all lined up. So it's some very different sensations as we move this golf club around the body. At one point, the lead hand was pushing down. At another point, the lead hand was lifting up. And then the lead hand was pushing back down again and rotating. So some very different sensations with the lead hand. The trail hand all of a sudden pulled up early. At the top, it then laid down. And then down through strike, it pulled up again and lengthened with the arm. And that lengthening of the arm thrusted the right shoulder up that allowed the club to line itself up down through strike. The pressure points of these two grips are crucial. If you've got your hands on the club in the right manner to start with, you will be able to do this effortlessly. Easy for me to say. Go check out that grip video up there. So hopefully you've taken away some thoughts there that are going to allow your pressures through your lead hand and trail hand to start to fire up your lower half and start to activate some good path lines, some angles of attack. Are you tired of paying too much for your premium leather golf gloves? Head over to gxgolfgloves.com. These are gloves tried and trusted by elite amateurs and tour players alike. Enter my code GOODCOACHING to receive 10% off your next order. Go try them out. You won't be disappointed. And some really great striking. Thank you so much for being with me. If this has offered up something to your golf, do consider subscribing while you're here. And that, my friends, is good coaching.